today's discussion we are talking about scholarships. I'm here to share my experience, my scholarship journey or experience, so that you can learn one or two things. So, of course, I'm very certain most of you know me, but in case you don't know me, I'm Darrington Asingwe. I'm a Chevening scholar now. That's maybe that's another title. Not a title, but and you know, what can I call it? Something that I'm now associated with, Chevening scholar. Maybe for those people who don't know what Chevening scholar means, maybe I'll explain before the end of this. So I'll be pursuing a Masters in Computer Science at the University of Edinburgh in the United Kingdom. Most people pronounce it as University of Edinburgh. No, it's not Edinburgh, it's Edinburgh. Edinburgh. So it's one of the top universities in the UK. So in the top 5, must be in the top 5, top 6 there in the United Kingdom. So I was awarded Chevening Scholarship. Chevening Scholarship is a scholarship that looks for potential leaders, people who are creating impact in their communities, in their home countries. Or you might not necessarily have started creating impact, but at least we can see that there is potential in you to create impact. So that's Chevening Scholarship. So Chevening is a very special scholarship. For those people who don't know about Chevening Scholarship, it's one of the most prestigious, very prestigious, and very competitive. I can tell you, very competitive. So from the stats that were told at the embassy, at the British Embassy, we had a meeting on Tuesday. 2,200 Ugandans applied for Chevening this year. No, okay, from my year, from last year, okay, because the journey spans from last year, from August till you get to know that you've been awarded Chevening around June. So we were told that 2,200 Ugandans applied for Chevening, but we've been selected only 13. You can compute that percentage and see it's not even 1%. 2,200 Ugandans or applicants, Ugandan applicants, submitted their applications for Chevening, and then those ones who have been awarded the scholarship are only 13. Now, if you don't know about Chevening now you apply, like right now the application window is open, and it closes on 7th October. So when you apply, your applications are sent to the committees that reviews those scholarship applications of yours, and then once they review them, they select the standout applications. Now, once your application has been selected, then you are called for interviews at the British Embassy. Now, from those interviews, now they select again. So, from the stats of this year, 2,200 Ugandans submitted the applications for Chevening Scholarship. Only 60 out of...
So,
Okay.
sorry to interrupt. Is it okay to go back to the part where or the part of applying?
Okay. Do you want to know the details of applying? Because right now I was just giving statistics.
Yeah, you can restate the statistics. I missed a bit
Okay.
of the step.
Okay. Maybe if I have time, I will take you through the entire process for applying for Chevening. But right now, most of you that I'm talking to, you are ineligible. You don't qualify for Chevening, because Chevening requires those who have work experience of at least 2 years after graduation. Initially, actually, Chevening, okay, prior to this year, if someone had some work experience before graduation or before finishing school, they would consider that. But they've made changes right now, starting with this year. Starting with this year, they want people who have 2 years, at least 2 years of work experience. So right now you guys can't qualify for Chevening since most of you are still in school. But that's why I come in handy right now, so that I prepare your minds. You prepare for the journey. For example, if you're interested, for example, in Chevening is not only the scholarship that is around, but it's one of the most prestigious. There are other scholarships like MasterCard. I don't think they require work experience. I'm not so certain. You can always find out. MasterCard is a scholarship there. There is Commonwealth scholarship as well. It is also under UK government. Chevening is, for those people who don't know, Chevening is also under UK government, foreign under an office called FCDO, Foreign Commonwealth Development Office. Okay, it sponsors like potential leaders in most of. There are quite many countries. If you go to their website, you will see, Algeria, Kenya, most countries around the world, Serbia, etc. So then there's also Commonwealth. There is Oxford. It's called what is it? Rhodes Oxford. Yeah, that's specifically for Oxford. Cambridge, I think, has Cambridge Trust. There are very many scholarships. So it's up to you. It's not that every scholarship requires you to have a minimum experience of 2 years. No, it depends on the scholarship that you are going for or you want to apply for. So you have to be intentional to know, this is what I want. This is a scholarship I want. Okay, so but for Chevening, it requires a minimum of 2 years experience of work experience. Now, I was still explaining the statistics. Now, Chevening this year, the window starting from last year up to, because now we are transitioning to make sure that we are now Cheveners, now trying to move to the United Kingdom for our our masters. They received 2,200 applications. 2,200 applications. Now, I said after they've applied, they select people they are going to interview. They conduct interviews at the British Embassy, if you know it, around Acacia here in Kamoch, after Acacia, or Oilstar, I think. So they only I think they selected around 58, 60 around there. So out of those that went for interviews, they again selected 13. 13 was the number that was awarded the scholarship. Anyway, I'm not here to talk about Chevening as a scholarship. I just want to prepare you how you can go for other scholarships in general. This is not specifically Chevening. If you want a session on Chevening, we can look into that as well. But this is specifically for any other scholarship. What do you need to do? So that's it. Okay. So for scholarships, not even just scholarships, for admissions, if you're to get admitted in the best schools out there, abroad, particularly world-class institutions, if you're going to United Kingdom, Oxford, Cambridge, University of Edinburgh, London School of Economics, University of Sheffield, University of Leeds. I'm now talking of UK. I'm not, of course, US as well. So it's just general. If you want to go Stanford, Harvard, Princeton, Yale, those prestigious schools, you must be having something that inspires you as an individual. You must be having something that motivates you. Initially, when I had finished school, I was only flaunting, or I was only, trying to, show people I got a first class in software engineering. So you guys, I'm good enough to be admitted in your schools. But that's not what people are looking for. That's not what people are most interested in. People are most interested in what impact are you creating, or what are you making use of your degree or your skills that is changing society, for example, or that is making an impact. It might not be changing society, but at least is creating impact in your organization. Maybe you want to do up to go for graduate school because you figured out there are challenges within your organization where you're working, and you feel like you're this person that they only trust to address them, but right now you can't address them because you lack knowledge in A, B, C, D. Okay, so it's not, someone was asking me via chat what kind of impact, what. So it's because from my position I was picking, or I applied as a founder, as a person who has founded tech startups, initiatives. But there are those people who also get the scholarship when they are actually working for other organizations. They are employed, okay, and they get the scholarships. So the motivation essay, your inspiration matters in this case, and it should always about addressing challenges. The world is having a lot of problems, so we are looking, or the world is looking for, people to solve those problems. Okay, so motivation or inspiration is why scholarship. Why do you need a scholarship? Most people gamble here. Someone comes to you and says, "I want a scholarship," but they don't know why they want a scholarship. Someone will tell you, "Ah man, I want to just get masters." Get masters and do what? So there should be a rationale. There should be a reason as to why you want to do masters. And I would want to advise you that it's like when you're, for example, you're doing your undergraduate, there should be a reason. For those people I've taught, I've always hinted on that. Don't just do a degree and say, now I have a degree, I just want to get employed. Okay. Now what if you don't get a job? What if, because there's a possibility, what if you don't get a job? Okay, but if there is this guy who says, okay, I just want to do my undergraduate degree and have skills in cloud computing, or want to be a cloud engineer, and I want to make sure that I set up better infrastructures for different companies. You see that there is something that drives that person. But you can't be there and they ask you, why are you pursuing this degree? And you say, I want to get a job. No. Yes, everyone wants, you want to have a job and have income, but that is selfish. That's selfish. Make sure that your motivation is not selfish. What do I mean when I say that your motivation is selfish? It means that it's personal. For people who are achievers, they not only look at only elevating their own or personal careers. No, they look at improving the lives of others, in people in the community, the vulnerable people, etc. Of course, there are very many areas that you can look at. So avoid in your mind having your personal ambitions to be the cornerstone or the foundation of what drives you. Yes, everyone would want to drive an expensive car, to have a very beautiful mansion. But if that's all that you can present as to why you want a scholarship, then that is wrong motivation. That is a wrong motivation, and you can't present that to people and they give you a scholarship. Never. It will be very hard for you. So look at solving problems, to be in your organization, to be in your community, to be in your country. Okay, look at how do I address this problem, and you can use your skills. I would recommend that as you're studying computer science, artificial intelligence, look at what are the health problems that we have in our country that I can use my AI skills to address. Okay, people are looking. I can tell you, if you're this guy who has done AI and you're using AI to diagnose or a certain problem, or to help doctors easily discover disease in a patient, you're the guy suitable. You're the person they are looking for to get this kind of scholarships. So please be problem driven, not personal goal driven when you are looking for scholarships. For example, in my case, I had 3 initiatives. I had AgriX, the one that enables farmers to access profitable markets for their agricultural produce. I have PivoSoft, which digitizes SMEs. We digitize operations for small scale and medium enterprises. I have, PivoSoft Coding Academy, where most of you belong. And what am I doing? I'm trying to enlighten you for free mentorship training. We've had those sessions only because I want you to be better. I'm sure some of you have already benefited. So you can see that I am addressing problems. If I train a guy like Simon, okay, and he's able to get software development skills and equip himself, and then before school before he finishes school, he gets a job because of the skills he has learned under my leadership, then I have solved unemployment. Why? Because Simon is able to attain relevant industry skills even before graduation. I have seen this, and it is a problem in our society. Most young people finish 4 years, 3 years of university, and after school they struggle to get job opportunities because they do not possess their skills. I have recommended, I think, 2-3 people to my friends who own also tech companies, but those guys frustrated me because the owners of those companies later discovered that those guys never possessed adequate skills. So that was even the foundation for starting this academy. So one, I needed to build to enhance my AI skills and cloud engineering skills to make sure that I can scale AgriX and PivoSoft, because the number of farmers we support, I anticipate they will grow. That's for sure. They will grow in 2000s once we span across different regions of the country. For PivoSoft, we have seen the number of SMEs increase per day. We acquire this client who wants this website, who wants this application. So you find that we need cloud-based architectures on our servers that will be able to support all these companies. So to do that, I needed advanced expertise in cloud engineering. So I needed to access networks. That was my other reason. Access potential investors who would, for example, invest in AgriX. AgriX is a very good product, is a very good innovation. But without potential investors, without people supporting us, we can only support a small fraction. So, and Uganda has, over 3.5 million smallholder farmers. So if you are to support a bigger percentage of that, then we need, we need people around us. That's why I said when I was starting that you cannot do things alone. We need people to inject into us resources, not necessarily money alone, but knowledge. People who have moved the startup world ahead of us, who started earlier than us. Those guys, I believe they have the knowledge. So I believe with this scholarship, that's what I'm going to gain. That's obvious. For example, if you look at where I'm going, the University of Edinburgh, it has what we call Edinburgh Innovations, which is a commercialization service. So it supports like students and staff with startups. So I believe as an individual who's going to such a university, that is a huge resource for me as a startup, found as an innovator, because I believe I will leverage their resources, their available funding, the knowledge of the experts from there to advance these initiatives. Of course, I needed exposure to world-class technologies. Of course, we know that Western countries have advanced technologies, so I needed to understand if, for example, I want to use computer vision to identify the crops or the plants with diseases or pests, so that farmers can easily detect those and be able to eliminate them in advance before they spread out to attack the crops in their, or every crop in their farm. I need to see the advanced robotic agents that these countries are using. Okay, so I needed that exposure to world-class technologies, learn from global innovators. Okay, for example, Chevening itself, Chevening is a network of global leaders. It brings together people who are potential leaders, people who are creating change in their communities. So in that space, I will leverage a group of innovators, of people of like mind, who are moving the tech world, who are using technology to advance the world. So I believe that I will meet people of like mind to make sure that I also absorb, knowledge, expertise, resources, ways to access, resources like funding, potential investors, and which of course will be of huge advantage or significance towards growing these initiatives. And then my other point is, you guys, you can see now I am trying to give you this information. I needed to expose you to global opportunities like scholarship. Now I'm telling you about Chevening. There's no way I would come before you to talk about Chevening when actually me myself, I've not won Chevening scholarship. It becomes funny. But now that I've won a scholarship, it becomes very easy for me to tell you guys, you can actually get Chevening. Chevening sponsors everything, almost everything, from tuition, from air tickets, to and fro, from visa application, from monthly stipend to cater for your accommodation, to cater for your living expenses. Literally, this scholarship, gives you everything. Okay, so there's no one would come and tell you this is what Chevening does for you, when actually myself, I'm not a Chevener. Okay, but because right now I'm a Chevener, I'm a Chevening scholar, I'm able to share, knowledge about how you can move, around different resources to get scholarships. It is easy for me because I've navigated that journey myself. So that was also one of my reasons. I wanted to make sure that once I get the scholarship, you guys, I can be able to share my experience just like I'm doing, and you're able to learn how you can get or win a scholarship. Journey, what do you need to do to get a scholarship? One, do research. First, research and find out different scholarships that you're interested in. Look at your requirements. See if you fulfill or meet their requirements. Because you like someone I think, and I don't like this. I like people who, anyway, this is my advice anyway, and I don't like that type. Don't wait for Darlington to feed you every kind of information. Be a go-getter. Make use of internet. Internet has everything. The scholarships that you're looking forward to getting, they have websites. Go to their websites and find out what are the requirements. What are their requirements? What do they require an applicant to have? Okay, so of course, if you come to me, I will share some knowledge, but you would actually get more information better than what I have if you go to their website yourself and find out on your own. So do research. If you say you want to get MasterCard scholarship, right now for me I can't advise you because I've never gotten MasterCard. But if you ask me a question, I can easily navigate to MasterCard Foundation scholarship and read through their website, and then I tell you the information. And some of you, that's what we would do sometimes. You ask me about a scholarship, I don't have the information, but I know where to get the information. I just go to their website, look through. Don't think that your teachers, your lecturers, your mentors have a repository of all the information you need. No. If you ask me a question and I don't know, I would make use of internet. So before, and I like this, before you ask someone a question, whether your mentor, whether your lecturer, ask yourself if you can get it anywhere else. First, make sure that you've searched and you've failed to get that information. That shows me that you're someone who is not lazy. I can tell you, this journey of getting scholarships, this journey of getting admissions abroad, it requires you to invest, not to be lazy. It requires you to get time and search and write documents. It requires you to prepare a lot. Now my next point is preparation. you need to most of the scholarships, of course, these are the documents they want. CV. Make sure you have your updated CV with you always. Make use of tools like Google Drive. Create folders there. Name it like academics. Create CVs. Make sure that your transcripts, if you finish school, they are there. Make sure your certificates are there. Okay? When you're applying for scholarships or admissions, they require you to write essays. They want to know what is your motivation for applying for a scholarship. So that is a skill you need to do, or you need to have. Make sure that take your time before you finish school, as if you decide to say, I will apply for Chevening 2 years after I've worked for 2 years. Learn how to write essays so that when time comes, you know what Chevening looks for from applicants. You know how to write essays. You have someone around you to mentor you, and you know how to navigate different resources. Okay, so they require you to have a CV. They require you to write essays. Even applying to these universities abroad, from my experience, there is no university that you apply to. Most of them require you to write essays. Most times they call them personal statements. Okay, statement of purpose. Some institutions have what we call statement of purpose. Some other institutions require you to have a personal statement. You can Google and find out what's the difference, for example, between statement of purpose and then statement of purpose and then personal statement, or different essays that different universities require you to submit during application. Of course, you need recommendation letters. If you're applying for scholarships, admissions abroad, you need people to recommend you. You need someone whom you've closely worked with to recommend you. To say, like you need someone to write a very good recommendation letter about you. And I want to discourage you from this. Avoid getting any random person to recommend you, because they don't know you. They will write what they feel. But recommendation letters play a bigger role in getting scholarships and admissions abroad. For me, in my case, I had a lecturer at Mackay University who was my former friend, who was of course my former lecturer, and who is a friend now, up to now. Is the person who got me my first job before even I finished campus. Is the same lecturer gave me a contract for my tech startup, for a contract over 40 million Uganda shillings. That is a lecturer, and he told me. So use this opportunity. Network with your lecturers. Befriend them. Let them mentor you. Let them show you the direction. Time will come when you need them. So be strategic. Network with them. Build relationships. If you're applying for Chevening scholarship, there is an essay you write about networking. They will ask you, tell us of a time when you built a relationship with someone and how it benefited you. I remember using him as an example. That lecturer gave me my first job, gave me that contract I've told you. He took me to one of a conference. It was about agriculture, fostering agriculture, specifically concentrating on smallholder farmers, specifically women. I remember going to Protea, having discussions there, and that opened my mind towards how I can advance AgriX. And of course, networking is not about benefiting, like you as an individual only benefiting. No, you have also to make sure that the person you're benefiting from, they also benefit from you. And this lecturer of mine, every time he calls me to lecture, I don't hesitate. I go and lecture his students. I teach his students for free. I've done that since 2021 when I finished campus. So make sure that when you have some of you want to befriend your lecturers, or you want your lecturers to mentor you, and you only benefit from them. No, see how you can also be of advantage, or be a benefit to them. For example, I always look people to design my flyers. You can be like, you know what, Darrington, I have design skills. I'll make sure for any design work you have. That's being strategic. I'm not saying that that if you don't do that. What I'm saying is that be smart, be strategic when you're building relationships. Don't let the other party be you find that they're only benefiting alone. Make sure you also benefit them. If I'm your lecturer and you're doing for me design work, I need to make sure that you also benefit. That's why I'll get opportunities and you find I'm sharing with you, because I know somehow I'm also getting something from you. Okay, it's not, it shouldn't be, take and give, but that's how relationships are built. Okay, you help me, I help you. You help me, I help you. Should not be one way. So please note that on recommendation letters, you need people who will recommend you, someone who can write a good letter. And please resist from using people who don't know you. There is a student from your university who came to me and wanted me to recommend them. I didn't even remember their name. I didn't even remember that I even told them. But these are people who want me to recommend them. But I don't know you. I don't know even the skills you're good at. But if I've worked with a student like Simon, whom I've worked with at my startup, it becomes very easy for me to recommend. Like, I get confidence. I can wake up at 2 a.m. and if his recommendation letter deadline to submit is 6 a.m., I can sacrifice, because I know I've worked with him. I know he possesses principles like integrity. He's smart. Like, I am propelled, I'm compelled to go and write a recommendation letter. But when you come to me, I've never worked with you. I only know your name. Please, even I don't think I can even do it, because I'm someone who I cherish integrity, I cherish true honesty. So please look at that. You can look at your lecturers that you like, or people you feel like they can mentor you. Befriend them, and make sure that at a later time you will need them to recommend for to get you recommendation letters for your jobs or scholarships or academic reasons like admissions abroad. Challenges that you will face during the preparation: time management, rejections, doubts, limited resources. You will find yourself working late in the night trying to prepare your essays, for example, trying to communicate to your mentors to get recommendation letters, trying to make sure you go to, like, there's a lot. It's just that right now you're students, but after school you find as you have work, you need to write, you need to draft your essays, you need to write your essays. So a lot will be going on. So you find that you have to manage time very well. You will meet rejections. You will write to institutions and they will reject you. I myself, I have been rejected by some institutions. Okay. Anyway, I've been rejected, I think 2022, 2021. But you don't give up. I've been rejected by, some good schools. But you don't give up. You keep going. As long as you know what you want, you keep writing. Actually, I can tell you that rejections, they make you better, because you reflect and ask yourself, why did I write wrong? Why did I go wrong? Next year when you're applying again, you apply now in a smarter way. You apply in a smarter way, because you will sit down and reflect, where did I go wrong in the previous application? So rejections are part of this journey, I can assure you. I don't know how many times I've not been rejected once, twice, thrice. The couple of times, but I didn't give up. Okay, sometimes you have doubts. You ask yourself, man, at one point I had actually asked myself this. There was some doubt. I was like, really, am I good enough? But in my heart, even though I could, have those moments, but I always believed that I am up for the best. I am among the best, and I am for the best. I'm positioned for only the best universities, for the best scholarships. So those doubts will come along the way, but don't give up. Have the right group around you. If you fail and you don't have the right group around you, you will easily give up. But if you have a person like Darrington in your circle and be like Darrington, and you speak to him, I say, man, I was also rejected, by Harvard. I was also rejected by Stanford, but here I am. I got this scholarship now. So you have those doubts. You have, limited resources. Sometimes these applications, require to invest in money. I remember for Stanford, I think each application was costing me around 480,000 Ugandan shillings. One application, submitting it, 480, 500, almost 500 if I'm to approximate it. 500 thousand Ugandan shillings. So sometimes we find that you're constrained by money, yet you have to submit. But as long as you know what you want, you just invest in those resources. Next, persistence. How many times you have tried before succeeding? I think this speaks to me. I think I'm persistent. I first applied, I think, if this is to give you, I first applied to Stanford. That was in 2021, 2022. I don't remember. I don't know when it started. I think 2021. I got rejected. I think I've had 3 consecutive applications to Stanford, and I've gotten rejected. But I also applied to Harvard. But that in itself did not stop me. Even this year, I applied to Cambridge. I managed also getting into the interview stage. I almost got there, but I think, but you don't give up. You will fail along the way. So what matters is how do you persist? So it is important that if you receive rejections, keep there. Key strategies that worked for me. How did I position myself? Of course, networking. Okay, you need to be in groups that can, where you can easily share resources, like links. Okay, because some of you come into my inbox now. Where do I get the link? So instead of, always asking Darrington, be in those scholarship groups. There are some scholarship groups I'm in. You can always join those scholarships. Be there even though you haven't finished school. I actually think that you guys, the best time for you to be in such groups is now. Because if you are in second year now, by the time you spend 2 years in school before you finish campus, by the time you finish, you'll be knowing a lot. You'll be knowing where to start from. So join those groups very early. Get mentors who can, tell you what to do as you're still in school. Actually, I can tell you that the part of the work that enabled me getting this scholarship is the work I did at campus. I was able to start my tech startup while I was at campus. Okay, if you are able to start, at some good work at campus, it means that you're ambitious. It means you're a leader. It means that you are adventurous. It means that you are an achiever. Okay, so you need to start these things as early as possible. So network and make sure that you have the right group of people around you. Build a strong personal statement. Of course, I talked about personal statement and statement of purpose. Statement of purpose is about what motivates you to go for a scholarship. What motivates you to go for masters? It is not a story of I want to go outside and explore UK or US. It's not a matter of saying, man, I feel a scholarship will give you money. No. It's way beyond that. It's not even related to that. So a scholarship giving you a stipend, paying for you a tuition, it's just an enabler for you towards achieving the ultimate goal, which is, of course, solving problems or creating impact. Okay? Then next is you have to tailor applications to fit each scholarship mission. The essay or the application you write for MasterCard scholarship, for example, cannot be the same for Chevening, cannot be the same for Commonwealth, because each scholarship requires something specific to them. Each scholarship has its own interests. So for every application or essay you write, you must make sure that you tailor it to a specific scholarship. It is the same as the essays or the applications you write to different universities. In this year, I applied to Cambridge, I applied to University of Edinburgh, I applied to University of Sheffield. But my essays or applications were not the same. Each university requires something different. So you need to make sure that you tailor your purpose towards each university or application. So don't say that now I've written my application for Cambridge, it's now the same application I will use for Sheffield or Edinburgh. No. And sometimes actually these applications, they have word limit. You might find that at Cambridge you need to write an essay of 300 words, and yet at Edinburgh they want you to write an essay of around 500 words. So you see, it's a journey. It's not like, so this calls for people who are lazy to now adjust, make sure that these things, I can tell you, they are up to one point hectic, so they require you to make sure you're resilient, you know what you want. Some of you, when you come to my inbox and say, I want a scholarship, and then I'll be like, do you think that's how they get a scholarship, my friend? No. A scholarship is not gotten by saying, I want a scholarship, and then you just apply in one day and you get. No. You have to take time, critically think, look for a specific scholarship, see what it requires you, what requires an applicant to have, look at different requirements, so that when you're writing your essays, when you're writing your applications, when you're writing your CVs, you tailor them to fit the mission or the interests of the scholarships or universities. So please note that. Staying consistent and resilient despite setbacks. I have told you about my setbacks. I have rejected a couple of times, but I've stayed consistent. I've stayed persistent. And my mission, my ambition was, if I've never had it from me, I said I finished from the so-called the best institution or university in the country, and I was the best. What else do I need in this country? Now I said, no, I need now to go for better institutions. I need to access world-class education. That was my motivation. So never at one point, never did I put that, regardless of those rejections, that I thought, now let me go and do a master's again in Makeni. No. I said, no, I was the best there. There is nothing else I want from there. There's nothing I'm going to get from there. Now I said, now it must be something beyond. So that is something that kept pushing me, because I said I needed something better. I need exposure. When you go to those countries, their technologies are more advanced than ours. So I said I needed that exposure. Sometimes it's not just about academics. Exposure also matters. So that is what drove me towards that kept me on the gas pedal to make sure that I stay resilient, I stay consistent, regardless of the setbacks that I used to get. The breakthrough, how does it feel? Man, it's good. I can't tell you guys, if you get a scholarship like Chevening, man, itself, when you tell someone, we were in a meeting at the embassy, at somewhere during this week, and trust me, and my fellow other previous Cheveners were saying this, that itself being part of, for example, Chevening community itself, it unlocks doors for you. There's a gentleman who was saying that it helped him get like a job. Like, you speak like, man, I want Chevening scholarship. That itself be like, okay, you got Chevening scholarship? Wow, that's interesting. So winning a scholarship like Chevening itself is prestigious. You can even, you look at the statistics, for example, I've given you. Only 13 Ugandans being selected out of how many people applied? 2,200. When you look at that achievement, sometimes you'll be like, wow. Is it? You realize that it's not even your. You can be too good, but you. My other point that I'll talk about is God. Sometimes it's God, because it's way beyond. You don't want to. You can't tell me that out of 2,200 applications that there are that group never had other smart guys or other guys better than us. It is a chance is there that there could be other guys who in that group and they're too smart and they're too good, but they never got the scholarship. So it tells you, first of all, 13 out of 2,000, that is 0.6%. It tells you how competitive it is. So winning it, man, is so good. I was discussing with my other colleague that where we are is a colleague where he also won Chevening, and I was telling him that, man, Chevening scholarship has not yet sunk into my mind yet. I was just being humorous and telling him maybe because I'm still in the same space where the usual things, and maybe I need to be at campus and or in the UK, and then I start experiencing this and this, and then realize, oh, I'm now a Chevening scholar who is now being funded, who is receiving funding for almost everything. So it feels good. It feels good. It opens doors for you. You feel like you are an achiever. You feel like, man, you feel like sometimes you can't believe, you say, but God, what did I do to deserve this? So you get a lot of emotions. You get a lot of emotions, and they are good emotions, of course. But it's good. I can tell you the experience is good. Experience is good. And you can imagine, you go, for example, to the British Embassy, if you go to the British Embassy and you see how to protect it, or how to access such a space, like accessing the embassy, how it's not easy, and you're like, oh, I can now access because I'm a Chevena. Man, it's a different feeling. It's a different feeling, and I would just recommend you guys to look out for those opportunities. They will take you very far. You will not be now. When you get Chevening, you're no longer a national asset. When you finish like your school, your university, your national asset. Now when you get a scholarship like Chevening, you become a global asset. In the context of Chevening, that's how we think, because we say Chevening is a community of global leaders. So now you guys, when you look at me, I am just joking. I'm no longer a national asset. I am a global asset. So I'm saying, please go for such opportunities. Make sure you become global assets. If you look at a figure like Winnie Byanyuma went beyond being a national asset way before. She has been a global asset. I think she works with is it UNAIDS, that UNAIDS, that agency for AIDS in the United Nations. I think she has worked for, is it Oxfam, like those big entities, global entities. So when you get Chevening, a scholarship like Chevening, you don't think of, now I am going to come back and work for maybe Bank of Uganda. Yes, you can work there, but you start off like, how do I impact the UN? How do I access the United Nations and make sure I create the impact in UN? How do I become, of course, Chevening, for it requires you to make impact in your home country, but of course they would require you to return for 2 years. Once you finish your studies, come work here for 2 years, and then you can go abroad if you want to go abroad again. 2 years. You use those 2 years to create the impact you told them you wanted to create. But I'm saying after 2 years, you can again say, now, since I've created the impact and I've set up structures here, I have people who are, who are keeping these companies running. Now you can think of, now let me become a consultant, a UN consultant or whatever. So, like, what I'm saying, that the feeling is good. It elevates you. You no longer think at the national level. You look at yourself as a global asset. Okay, so look out for such opportunities. It's a very, that's why it is like a turning point in everyone's journey. Everyone would like to be part of Chevening community. I'm very certain about that. So it's a good feeling. Impact of the scholarship. What are the benefits? Academic growth. You're able to get new skills, opportunities, exposure. I'm going to the UK to explore. I have been, for example, a Liverpool fan since I was P5 there. Yes, P5, P3 there. So now I'm going to get an opportunity. I'm going to, to use this an opportunity to watch a football match live from Anfield. So it's so exposure. You get exposure and see if you've been watching a game on TV. Now you've got an opportunity to go and watch a game live from Anfield. So it's a huge opportunity. I will not just get skills in AI and cloud engineering at the University of Edinburgh. I also watch football matches. I know the Scottish League has teams like Rangers, Hibernian. So I'll be watching those games live. So, and I will use those opportunities to tell people about my innovations, my startups, out of which I believe that I will get people who might pick an interest and be able to support, so that when I return in my home country, I can grow these initiatives. Personal development, you become very confident. Trust me, if you know that now you're able to get Chevening scholarship, itself boosts your confidence. Of course, even before that, I knew that I am the best and I can go for the best. But now, getting Chevening scholarship it's like a testament to say I can achieve anything. So it boosts your confidence. It grows your resilience, of course. Cultural exchange, of course. Now Chevening as a community, it brings people from Chevening's funds, scholars or citizens from different countries, African countries, European countries, different countries, China, India. I'm not China. Yeah, you can always check out the web. I'm not, but I think China as well. China. No. I'm not so certain about China, but you can search. What I'm sure about India, Kenya, Uganda, Rwanda, Serbia, very many countries. Okay, so Chevening as a community of Chevening, we are able to meet together. For example, we shall be in London, where we are going to meet meet ourselves as a community of all Cheveners. So I will learn from Indians, every Chevener from different countries. Okay, so it's an opportunity, cultural exchange, also learn from other cultures. Career and professional impact. Of course, you're able to grow your career. It's a very big opportunity. And of course, broader impact. Broader impact. I will return to grow these initiatives, guys. I have gotten Chevening. The best thing you can do for me, is to take this, mentorship seriously. And I want to see at least 5 people get Chevening. I know some of you are still in school, if not most of you, but I want in 5 years, the minimum number I want, even that is, I want 10 people to get Chevening. There I will regard myself as a profound achiever. I have mentored guys and they've also gotten Chevening. So please take it seriously, take my mentorship seriously, and I would want you guys to access such opportunities. And I'm willing to support, just like I've always done. So my broader impact, coming back to benefit more smallholder farmers through using AgriX, impacting more SMEs using PivoSoft, and making sure that you young people that I'm mentoring within the PivoSoft Coding Academy, that you also get these opportunities. You get the skills which we've already started giving you. If you don't want to go for scholarship, but again you use your skills to build innovations. Use the skills also just like I told you before, I want to see you mentor other colleagues. That's what I want. Okay, impact must be generational. Impact is generational. That's why I said, if you're writing your essays, motivational essays, they should not be personal. If I am able to mentor Simon and he builds his own innovations and he's impacting community, I am proud of that. if you guys I provide you mentorship and you're able to get Chevening or other scholarships and you're growing in your careers where you're creating change, I am proud. There's nothing that can beat that. Sometimes, some of you, most times, you think of money, 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 but I can tell you, money is good, but money without impact is nothing. Some of you, you think that when you have money, that's when you create impact. That's not the fact. Some people have money, but they are not creating impact. You can create impact even though you don't have money. Always start where you are. Did I need to have money to start PeopleSoft Coding Academy to provide mentorship to you guys? No, but I'm sure someone has benefited from this initiative. I am sure. I can see that I work with some of you. I know, and I didn't have to have money to create this initiative. Okay, so that is a broader impact. Okay, that's a broader impact that you should always look at. As we are edging towards the end of the conclusion, please prepare your questions in advance so that I don't leave anything behind. What did I learn? Resilience pays off. Of course, I've talked about that. Setbacks will come, rejections will come, failures will come through. You will feel like giving up, but please stay resilient. Eventually, you get to touch the cake. Sometimes I actually thank God that maybe I didn't get the earlier, admissions, or because if I look at Chevening Scholarship and what it does for me, I be like, God, thank you, and thank you for making me wait. Okay, and by the way, when I look back, I said, okay, maybe I waited for those 4 years because he needed me to grow my initiatives. Okay, so resilience pays off, regardless of the rejections, regardless of the setbacks. Importance of mentorship: you need someone to mentor you. I'm sure in the academy someone has benefited from me. That one I'm very sure, because I'm working with someone and I know how he has benefited from me. So mentorship is very important. Look for someone who can, befriend someone. Make some of I said when I was talking about networking, be strategic. Don't just be like, I know him, I would always ask when I want. No, can be like, hey guy, where are you? I remember taking my lecturer out. I said, let me take him out, we have a conversation. I remember, buying him, something for his graduation. So those are things you do, initiatives that increase the bond with your mentor. If you do those things, they can even. I remember I was stressing my lecturers very late in the night. Sometimes I remind them late in the night, and he has to sacrifice right for me a recommendation letter. But if it was not for the network I created with him, someone would say, I don't mind, I will anytime. But these people that I used, I would send in my request and they would attend promptly because of how I have created friendships with them. Preparation and timing are very key. Preparation and timing are very key. That's why I said I thank God that I had to wait for those years. Even when I was being rejected, maybe at one point I can console myself and I say, God had a reason why. Because that's, for example, for AgriX, I conceptualized the idea in 2023. 2023 is the year where I said, now, this year I'm not applying to any institution. Let me give it a break. And then I started, how do I build this innovation? And how do I onboard farmers to make sure it benefits them? I remember I started developing AgriX in October 2023. The first version on Presto was available in January 2024 last year. So preparation is very important. If Chevening says it wants leaders, it wants to to fund potential leaders, ask yourself, how can I be a leader? Do I want to demonstrate that I'm a leader by building up and by building an innovation that will help community? If that, prepare. So prepare yourself. If applying to a certain university, let's say, University X, if it requires like English tests, ask yourself, have you done those tests? Don't wait. Someone, unmute and ask if you have a question. Someone, I think, is asking. I'm about to end so that you can ask at once, but if you have something urgent, please ask. So preparation is very key. Preparation is very key. Look at the documents. Do they want a transcript? Do I have it? Do I have a certificate? Do they want a certificate? Do I have it? Do they want a passport? Do I have it? Like all those things. Look at a scholarship where you're applying. Look at their requirements and ask yourself, do I have this? Or prepare to make sure that you have all the necessary requirements. Rejections don't mean failure. That's obvious. I've been rejected a couple of times. I've been rejected by Harvard, Stanford. But I didn't give up. Okay, and I still believe that I'll go there for my PhD. I still believe that I'll go to one of those institutions. So prepare. Rejections does not mean failure. No, actually, to me, I'm not saying that everyone must fail, but I actually think that failure teaches you something. 2021, just like I was saying that I was on a fronting, man, I became the best in my class. I have the, I have the scores here, I have good grades. I know I have tech skills. That for me, I thought that was good enough to get me into those universities. That's what I thought. But I later learned that that was not it. So if I had not failed, maybe I wouldn't have learned it in that way. Those two failures taught me a lot. I think it was 2 years where I was applying, and then I was saying, man, I was the best. I've done this, but they look at it different. You don't have to front. Yes, of course you have to indicate. You have to indicate you got a first class, and then what? But when I use a point that after graduating as the best student from Mackay University in 2021 in software engineering, I felt a sense of giving back to my community by establishing PeopleSoft Coding Academy, which provides free mentorship and training to young people in software development. Oh, there we see a point. There it's a point. We can see that you became the best. You learned the skills. Now you felt like you should give back the knowledge. We see there is sense there. But you cannot come to us and tell us, man, I graduated the best, you should get me to your station. I'm not saying that that's how we speak, but I'm saying that you front it as I'm graduating the best and so what? No. The question after graduating as the best, and so what? But after graduating as the best, I got the software engineer skills with me, theoretical and practical. I am teaching students both theoretical and practical, and they are advancing. They are some of those who are taking it serious, of course, advancing in their careers. We can see impact there. So you'll be rejected, but don't give up. Advice to aspiring scholars like you, tips: start at a plan ahead. Look at the scholarships you want to target. Okay, I would advise you not to target one. Don't target, for example, like this year, I think I applied to 5 institutions. I applied to Cambridge, Stanford, Stanford as well. I applied to Sheffield, Edinburgh. So start early. Look at the universities that you feel are the best fit for you. Start early. Look at the requirements. Each university requires. Prepare in advance. Keep knocking one thing at a time. By the time the time reaches for you to apply, you have gathered all the requirements. Seek advice, seek guidance and mentorship. I am here to mentor. You can get other people. There are scholarship groups. Groups. There is a group called, it's an entity or an organization called SCCM. I think African Center something for mentorship. I've forgotten another C. African Center for something mentorship. It's by Abel Walekwa. Abel Walekwa is at the University of Cambridge doing his PhD. So you can follow those people on LinkedIn. Search Abel Walekwa. Send him a message and see how he can mentor you. Okay, if you feel like you want professional mentorship, or way beyond like way beyond what I can provide. Don't be afraid of rejection. You'll be rejected, but don't give up. Stay authentic in your applications. Don't lie. If you, I don't know how I can overemphasize this. Be authentic. Don't lie. But I have built a drone, and the drone is all over Uganda doing ABCD when actually you've never touched a wire. A wire that or an Arduino board, or you've never even touched you know you've not done anything, okay, towards building a drone. So be authentic. Give back when you succeed. That is very important. When I succeeded, when I've succeeded by getting Chevening Scholarship, I'm here giving you back the mentorship. So always give back when you succeed. Some of you are mean. When you run something, you don't want to teach others. Man, that is the worst thing. I resist. It's even demonic. It's not good to run something and don't want to teach others. I would want to see many of you going into my footsteps, or even going far beyond where I'm going. So when you succeed, please, teach others. Teach how did you get to the UK in one of the top 5 universities in the UK. How did you get there? How did you get the Chevening Scholarship? So, and that's what I'm doing, and that's why that's what I will always do. Conclusion: if Darlington can do it, so you can. That one I can tell you. If I can do it, if I can get Chevening, you can get it. If I can get to one of the top 5 universities in the UK, you can go there. Everything is possible. What matters is put in time, don't be lazy, be strategic, and you'll be there. Acknowledge those ones who have mentored you. Always appreciate your family, friends, mentors who have gotten where you've gone. Okay, pray to God for wisdom and guidance. I don't know how we can emphasize this also as well. Some things, if they tell you that Chevening has selected 13 people out of 2,200, this is not 200, it is 2,200. It is way beyond man. Some things are spiritual. Some things require you, God, and trust me, when it is your time, God will always align everything for you. But that doesn't mean that you don't do anything. No, you have also to put in effort. But always put God at the center of everything you do. I don't know what you believe in, but as long as you, from my, where I'm speaking from, you need God. Put God at the center of everything. And actually when you do things, they fall in place. Like, I remember the verse in the Bible which says that even God provides those who are asleep. For those he loves, something like that. So if you put him at the center and you do what you're supposed to do, you will get everything. Maybe, like for example, when I was applying for Chevening, during the application stage, I did not use anyone, not a single person. I did not use anyone. I submitted my Chevening essays. I did not look for any mentor. No, not a single person. I got mentors during the mock stage, people to interview me, to prepare for the interviews at the embassy. But during the application, those application essays that we write, where people normally get mentors, I didn't use any. And I believe that was God. God gave me the wisdom. God gave me... But I still acknowledge that we need mentors. I still acknowledge. During this process, particularly during the mock interview stage, I acknowledge what mentors contributed towards me getting the scholarship. So we need them. But sometimes when God has aligned you for something, you can always get it. So pray to God. Don't forget that. So I think this brings me to the end of my conversation. I'm now going to invite anyone with questions. Okay. Please allow me stop here. So I invite questions so that I can answer some of your questions and then we close this off. Please feel free to ask. This is your time. I am leaving very soon, so I'll be quite busy. That one is I'll be quite busy, so use this time when we. Of course, I'm not saying that I can't reply to text, but it would depend on how available I will be. But I believe my time will be very limited. At that one, I've already seen the transition, how hectic it is, and so I know how busy I will be. So please, ask questions. Unmute and first raise up your hand, unmute, and then ask a question. Then I will answer you as we try to finish up. Yes, Ian, please go on.
Very good afternoon to this side. I don't know the time by your side there, but I've really loved the presentation. Me myself, I'm not a student from ICE, but a friend of mine shared to me this link. I'm from MOOBS, pursuing Bachelor of Commerce, year 2. So first, for starters, I wanted to ask sir about that scholarship. Do you do you have the EF English set test that you take?
Okay. So okay, I can respond to Ian. So now most scholarships, they don't ask for English tests. Oh no. Okay, let me speak from the perspective of Chevening. Chevening does not ask for English tests, but the universities are the ones that ask for English tests. But again, it is not every university. Okay, so the scholarships, most scholarships like Chevening does not most scholarships do not ask. Just a moment. Sorry about that. So Ian, I was saying that scholarships do not ask for English tests. For example, Chevening does not ask for English tests. Universities are the ones that ask for English tests, but again, it's not every university. Now, I applied to Cambridge, University of Edinburgh, University of Sheffield. Now, University of Cambridge, I did not submit an English test during. I think they needed a test along the way. I stopped at the interview stage for Cambridge, so I think I need to inquire from someone to confirm for Cambridge. But what you need to do is search every university and look at their requirements. When do they require an English test? When you are applying, it's not a must that you must submit your English test then, but they give you, I think, time. For example, okay, let me give you the other two universities. University of Edinburgh gave me admission, give me an offer. But that offer, the requirement was not English test. So they didn't require me to have English tests. But University of Sheffield gave me also an offer. But the condition was to submit an English test. For Edinburgh, it used my transcript from Mackay, the transcript to evaluate my English, because they saw that most of the courses were conducted in English, and so there was no need to submit an English test. But for Sheffield, even though my transcript was in English, for them they still wanted an English test, as an English certificate. Okay, so that's it. I hope I've answered you, Ian.
Yes, I have.
Okay. I have someone else. Someone else, please. Please feel free to ask the questions before. See, my power is also up. I'm about to black out. Okay. Please feel free to ask. Any questions? Feel free to ask anything. might have presented something you've not understood. Feel free to ask. Yes, Daniel.
Yes, my question is, did you have to write an essay for your application?
Yes. Actually, for every school or scholarship, most of them you have to write an essay. I wrote an essay for Cambridge. I wrote an essay for Edinburgh. I wrote an essay for Sheffield. I wrote essays for Chevening, and they are different. You don't write one essay and you don't think you write an essay for Cambridge and you think it will work for Edinburgh, and then you think it will work for Sheffield. No, they are different. Like, you have to tailor your application essay to the requirements of each institution or scholarship. So yes, I wrote essays. Any other question? Yes, Ian.
Well, sir, about the essays,
Yes.
I wanted to ask, how do I come up with a really strong essay, or what are the mistakes that most people make while making these essays in accordance with the universities that maybe the person has selected? And also, the other question would be, how do you come up to select the right university or the course in accordance with your academic journey that you're taking and the goals?
Very good questions. How to come up with? I forgot, by the way, to share. I should have shared links. I forgot to share in these groups. I was supposed to share. Chevening, right now we are holding webinars, so we are trying to teach potential applicants how to go about, for example, Chevening and the university and applying for universities in the UK. But I forgot to share this part. I forgot. But we have heard 3, and I think we are left with 2 or 3. But there are recordings. If you want to listen in to how, what we are talking in those webinars, you can access the recordings, and then you learn a few things there. And I've derived that from the question Ian has asked me. So, strong essay, I talked about, there's a webinar I had with Chevening, and it was talking about leadership. For example, leadership as an essay. Now, there's an approach called STAR approach. I don't know if you've ever heard about it. It's called the situation, then a task, action, and then results. But there's another other we add. So there's a STAR, which is STAR, STAR. There's another STAR, which is STARR. But the difference is that this other one, the second one, is double R. The last one is reflection. So when you're writing your essays, it's good to use a STAR approach, because a STAR approach enables you to it prevents you from rambling. It prevents you from writing unnecessary. And you for example, you write the situation. What was the situation? If, for example, asking for what type of, demonstrate a challenge you faced and how do you go about it, stuff like that. That's like a situation, okay? Then you tell us tasks. T are tasks. You state what were, for example, the tasks. Then A are actions. What was your task? And then A are actions. What actions did you take? And then R are the results. Okay, what results did you achieve? So strong essays. 1, you need to make sure that you use the STAR approach. 2, you need to know what you want. What do I mean when I say what do you need to to know what in terms of what do I need to know that this is what I want? 1, you need to ask yourself, why am I applying for Masters of Computer Science at University of Edinburgh? First, ask yourself, Okay, now in my case, I have this AgriX. It is for smallholder farmers, but most smallholder farmers, they don't know English. So, and the application currently supports 2 languages, that is Runyankore and Luganda, but we have over 40 plus indigenous languages in Uganda. So I ask myself, what can masters in computer science do for me in regards to that? Then natural language processing under AI is a point, because with NLP I can integrate, or I can provide support for many indigenous languages. Next, I wanted my application to, make more sense. For example, identify diseases or pests for each specific farmer, not to provide just general knowledge. But if a farmer has got a garden, my application should be smart enough to identify these are the pests that, for example, have attacked your crops. Then I remember which field or which module under Master's Computer Science can help me do that. Then I remembered computer vision. So there are others, of course, but those are just examples. Then you ask yourself, does Masters at in computer science at University of Edinburgh provide those modules? If I'm taking ML, do they have a feature for NLP? Do they have a feature for computer vision? If yes, then that's a tick for me. So what else? I'm a startup founder, and I have these innovations, but does this university provide anything that would help me grow my initiatives? Okay, I look at you. Of course, you go to the websites and search, and then I look at Edinburgh. Oh, Edinburgh has Edinburgh Innovations, a commercial service that supports student and staff spin-outs. Oh, I think I would benefit from this. So you see that there are strong reasons that I am relating. There's a reason why I'm going to do this course. My AgriX here needs knowledge in NLP and computer vision to do language to support many indigenous languages, and then computer vision for to detect pests and diseases automatically from farmers' crops. And then I need to grow this innovation so I can see that I will not only maybe get some funding or meet industry experts or innovators, but I will be able to attain more from the Edinburgh Innovations. So you look at the resources that a specific university gives you. Besides academics, is there anything else? Okay, so that's what I would. That's how I would recommend you to go about it. Look at what you want to do with the course. If I have this innovation, does Cambridge provide me what I want? If it's not, then I can't go for it. If they have MPhil, Masters in Philosophy of Computer Science, you go deep under that course and find out the modules. Look at the modules offered under that course. If the knowledge you're going to get there is the one that is the knowledge you're looking for, because it would not make sense for me to go to Oxford under maybe Masters in Computer Science, and yet their modules don't provide me with the knowledge I'm looking for. So those points are the ones that the committee, the members on the committee look forward to evaluating, to assessing. They want to see what is your rationale. Okay, he's talking about computer vision, and he has stated that we have these modules. It shows that you actually even searched, you've done research, and you found out they actually have those modules, and you have clearly stated how those modules are going to benefit your initiatives, like for example AgriX. I hope I've tackled your 2 questions in one. I hope I've answered you. If I've not, please you can re-ask and I provide you an adjusted or updated response. Ian.
No, sir, I think you've really answered the way I wanted it to.
Okay, nice.
Okay.
Someone else? someone else. Please use this time, and I'm glad that you guys, me, if I had this mentorship that I had during your time, I think by now I would be doing my PhD because I'll be knowing where to go. I can tell you, I would be knowing where to go. So you guys in the industry, you have the right person. So please use this time, prepare. If chevening requires you to have this, start early. Look at what you can make use of your AI, build an innovation, let it start making an impact, so that by the time you apply for chevening, you get it first time. Okay? I actually got to know, let me tell you, I got to know about chevening last year. There was a journalist called Sandra Twinoblio. She was working with NTV, if you know her. She was posted by UK just like how they posted us during this time. And I was like, I must go for chevening. This is my time. Trust me, it was my first time even applying for chevening. And then I got it. So imagine I got to know like seriously about chevening. Like last year, that's when I said, okay, let me dig deeper and find out. But for you, getting to know even before you finish school. So prepare ahead. Yes, Levi, let's first go to Levi. Proceed and ask. Let me be sure and...
Yes, thank you for the presentation. My question would be, being a chevening scholar, how is it going to influence your long-term goals
Okay.
in your career?
On my academy specifically?
In your career.
Oh, okay, in my career. So, of course, my career is around software engineering. Of course, teaching, innovations, but I would first put innovations, okay? I'm a guy who likes to innovate or invent, and I'm a guy who's passionate about teaching and mentorship. So, now, mentorship is PivoSoft Coding Academy, where you guys are, most of you. Then, of course, AgriX, innovation for farmers. And then PivoSoft, which is a tech startup that digitizes SMEs, that builds systems for small scale and medium enterprises and other organizations. So, chevening as a community is going to help me meet like global leaders. I'm going to meet people who have, been there before me, who have had startups that have now become big companies. So I'm going to leverage their knowledge. I'm going to leverage their expertise on how, for example, to secure funding for these initiatives. I need to make sure that my long-term goal is to make sure AgriX can span across Africa as a continent. I need to make sure I impact as many smallholder farmers as possible. So without knowledge on how to navigate such bigger spaces, I can't navigate it without that knowledge. So I'm going to meet global leaders who have been there, who have accessed funding, who have met potential, who have secured funding for their initiatives, who have leveraged different resources to grow the initiatives. I'll be able to show. Now it's easy for me to rub shoulders with them. It's an opportunity to learn from such people. It's like, imagine you don't know Darlington, you have to pay to access Darlington. But now you find that Darlington is your brother or is your sibling. You compare with that. So you see, if Darlington is your brother or sibling, or is your sibling or your uncle or is your lecturer, it becomes easy to ask him than a person who is very far from him. So it's the same thing. Now that I'm in the community chevening, where there are global leaders, where there are experts in technology, in climate, in agriculture, so I'll be able to associate with them and ask them, how are you tackling this problem in agriculture? And how can I support using my technology? Okay, there are potential investors. There is this person, a chevener who is in health, and they've already accessed funding. I'll be able to rub shoulders and ask them, how did you get funding for your health innovation? Okay, so it's a beautiful time. It's a beautiful space for me to make sure that I can leverage resources, different resources, whether potential investors, industry experts, and also it will also enhance my skills. I would want to go for policy formulation. as a person who is in tech, I would want to be a policy maker for technology. So that maybe in the later on, if my dream is to be in governance, I would want to be associated with policy formulation in IT governance. Okay, so it's a space for me, and I'm sure I'll be able to meet such leaders as well. Okay, I hope I've answered you, Levi.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Someone else, please. Yes, Ian, I think, yes.
Yes, sir. My other question is, what are the usual questions that they ask in interviews? If you have met any interviews on your way there, what are some of those interviews? The interview questions they usually ask there.
Okay. Each scholarship has its own questions. Okay. Just a moment. Okay. I hope you can see me. Sorry about that. I need to make sure I access power before my PC blacked out. Where was I? Questions. Now, every scholarship has its own interests. Okay? Every scholarship has its own interests. So the questions that you're asked depend on the interests of the scholarship. For example, for Chevening, when you log into the portal, it has its own questions. There are essays. There are questions which require you to write essays around those questions. Okay. So it has a leadership essay, it has a networking essay, it has a career plan essay. It also has why study in the UK essay. So those questions, when you go to when your application is selected, and you are selected for the interviews at the embassy, they will ask you questions around your essay. They will be having now let me now talk as a Chevener. When your application is selected and then you're shortlisted for the interviews at the embassy, when you go to the embassy, they have your application in their hands. Remember, when you go for Chevening, the questions are there, and you wrote essays to address those questions in their systems. So they have the question and what you wrote as your essay. So at the panel or on the panel, they ask you questions based on what you wrote. If you talked about AgriX or PeopleSoft Coding Academy, that's what they will ask you. They will ask you about what do you plan to do with AgriX, what do you plan to do with PeopleSoft Coding Academy, how will, for example, our Chevening scholarship help you in your PeopleSoft Coding Academy, how will the Masters at the University of Edinburgh help you help you to advance, for example, AgriX. So the questions there are no specific questions, but it becomes very easy if someone knows the scholarship and then they have the essays. That's why for Chevening, when they select you for the interviews, there's a stage where around from Feb to April, when the interviews start. Prior to that, the what we call mock interviews. So you do mock interviews with other people who have been selected for the scholarship. So it is doing that you get to know different questions, that you practice speaking, and by the time you reach the interview stage, you're very well prepared, and you at least have a clue on some questions that will be asked. But again, some scholarships do not require you. They don't do interviews. Some scholarships don't do interviews. Some do. Like Chevening, your application, once it is selected, you have to go to the embassy. They will call you for the embassy, and you do the interview. But some scholarships do not do interviews. They just read through your application and give you the scholarship. As well as some universities also do interviews if they are to give you admission, and some don't. For example, for Cambridge, Once they have read your application and it stands out, they will select it and call you for the interviews. And it's out. Once they interview you and they then they give you the offer. Some don't. They will just review your essay or essays or your application and give you the offer. So it depends. I hope I've answered you, Ian.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Someone else?
Yes. My other question was, is the Chevening scholarship responsible for like everything, where you're going to reside, what you're going to eat, and like everything, or there are some things that you are going to put in your money?
For Chevening scholarship, it funds literally everything. That's why you say Chevening is the most prestigious yet the most competitive. Why? Because of what it gives. Chevening will pay for your, okay, if you're given Chevening, it will pay for your tuition, full tuition. Chevening will pay for your visa to travel to the UK. Chevening will facilitate for TB test. Usually they require, when you're applying for visa and you're from, not every country, not every citizen from, not every Chevener from every country is required to have TB test. But in case you're required to have a TB test, they pay for that. Air tickets to and from when you're going to the UK and when you're coming back. Chevening gives you a monthly stipend for accommodation and living out expenses. Literally, it funds everything. There are other things that I might have forgotten. When you arrive in the UK, there's that money they give you. They call it, I think, arrival allowance. And when you're coming back, there's what we call departure allowance. Almost everything. So, yeah. You can always check on their website. You can always check on their website and you will find that. I was saying that Chevening literally funds everything. You can search on Google, you'll find out. They state what they provide from their website, so you can find out from their website and you'll see the information. Yes, Ian. Ian, I see your hand raised. If you have any, sorry. So I was saying that Chevening literally provides everything, so you can always check online and you see what they give. Almost everything, everything. Yes, Ian, proceed and ask. Let's try to finish up. It's going for 2 hours now. Ian, any question?
No, not really, sir.
Okay. Anyone with a question? Anyone? Please feel free to ask. This is your time to ask anything. I get so many requests in my inbox. So sometimes, I don't know. I think I always need to, if I see that, for example, that's why I put this meeting, because so questions were many. So it was very important for me to put this meeting so that at least people can come on board and learn instead of just helping one person via the inbox. Anyone else? Please feel free to ask anything.
Yes, sir.
Yes, Dave.
There are some things that you're going to miss back home.
Like what?
Yeah, maybe I feel about you to tell us if there are some things that you miss when you are there.
Of course, let me see. Of course, you have family. Of course, you have, I like our food, Ugandan food. It's good for people who have traveled. They know that nothing beats Ugandan food, of course. What else? I think those are the most important. But of course, I'm not this person who looks at, now I'm living behind this, No, I'm not a guy who likes being comfortable. You know, even though there's something that gives, I'm a guy who always aims higher. So I'm looking at the cake. I'm looking at what I'm going to get from there. So that's more important for me than where I am now. Because if you go, you again come back and find food. So, and good enough, you masters for UK normally 1 year. So 1 year you come back. So yeah.
It's only for 1 year.
Yeah, most. That's why I'm saying most. A big percentage of masters from United Kingdom are for 1 year.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, US is the one which has masters normally for 2 years, but it's 1 year, but it's like 2 years. That's why I warned you guys in advance that when I go, when if I don't reply, I will try always, of course, to reply. But if I take time, Kasaja can be busy. Just know the man is busy. It's Dorin.
Do you plan on working that side or you'll just be studying?
Chevening. What do you mean? Balancing work and
Yeah, would you like be working on a PeopleSoft and that, so you're getting like you're going to search for a new job, or you'll just stay in a booking and do that?
Of course, the Chevening gives me a lot of facilities for almost everything. So literally, there's no reason to work. But of course, UK gives students 20 hours per week. 20 hours per week if you want to work. So you can not full time, that's part time. If they give you 20 hours per week, 20 hours per week, so you can utilize that, because 20 hours per week, if you 20 hours per week, if you multiply, let's say they give you like £10 per hour, you get like £200, which is like 1 million per week. So 1 million per week. So yeah, that's if you want, of course. It is also advised. There's no problem. They've given you as that if you want to work 20 hours and you get like you work 1 month per week, you can take it upon. If you don't have, like Chevening gives me a lot of money, I don't need to work, it's up to you as well. So
I will share some money.
sorry?
We share on the money.
Are you sure I'm going to work? What I'm saying is now there you become I don't want you to be short-sighted. Now you be like, nah, the long-term Dorin should be, man, I'm coming back in your footsteps. I want Chevening so that I get my full money instead of dying to sharing with you his Kasumoro money. The best thing is also you guys to go for those scholarships, okay? Everything I told you when I was discussing in my presentation, that everything is possible. Look at the bigger goal. It's like when someone says, man, I'm going to sit home, I don't need to work because someone has said they'll be giving me their money. No, your mind is you're not looking at long term. You're not, if others are looking at building mansions in the city, for you are looking at, man, I need a comfortable life. If I can rent an apartment of 1 million because someone gives you 2 million, that's enough. You always think long term, okay? Yeah, that's what I always want to challenge you guys. I want you guys to go for bigger opportunities than what I've gone for, because actually for me, if someone goes and does something bigger, I'm proud. Yeah. Any other question? Any other question? So you need to make sure that in hopefully 4 years, I believe some of you are in first year, second year, so in 4 years, please make sure you also go for such opportunities. But you don't have to wait. You can also get MasterCard, Commonwealth. Some of those scholarships do not have a requirement of work experience. So can just also go for those scholarships. It's not a must to go for chevening, but if you can wait and go for chevening. Yes, Kalabo Kulizinza.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
I would like to ask a question.
Yes, please proceed.
As in, the all scholarships have the requirement of having work experience before you can apply for it?
Yes, that's what I was saying, that some scholarships do, some don't. So it's important that you get to know the scholarship that you want to go for. For chevening, it requires you to have a minimum of 2 years, work experience of 2 years. For others, they don't. So actually, like Rhodes Trust, I don't think Rhodes Trust, that's for Oxford. I don't know, you can search, you can always search search about those scholarships and see their requirements. Some don't actually. I think most of them don't. That's what I think. There is also Equity and Merit scholarship, one for University of Manchester. So there's MasterCard, there's Chevening, there's Oxford Rhodes Trust, there is Commonwealth, there is Equity and Merit. Those are the most popular and so good. There is Knight Hennessy for Stanford, that is US. So but each university, some universities offer some scholarships. You can always also go to the university of your choice. If you want to go to Oxford, go to Oxford's website and go to funding. You will come across links of different scholarships. So one thing I can tell you of out of my experience and what I know, these things will don't require you to be lazy. You're not going to get all information from Darlington. No. You have to know what you want and start. Internet is our friend. I can tell you, for everyone, I believe even for your lecturers, for everyone, internet is always your friend. And if you know how to use the internet well, you can always access all the opportunities you want in the world. So for example, I haven't gone to the University of Edinburgh, but the things I've done so far, most of them have been done online, like the pre-arrival steps. So, and how do you come to know? Website. The website always has everything. It indicates what you need to accomplish before you go there. So that's why I tell you, when I'm teaching and I see some lazy students and be like, okay, how do you plan to go for graduate school if you're lazy? The life the other side is not for the lazy people. That's what I can tell you. So anything else before we close? I hope I've answered you, Karabo.
Yes, you have. Thank you, sir.
If there are no more questions, let me wish you the best. I want to, this is 2025, before 2030, I need 5 people to have attained a scholarship. It might not be necessarily Chevening, but at least any other scholarship. You can always reach out and ask a question in my inbox. Though I'm a guy who is so busy, Simon is the one who knows. But I'll try as much to make sure I always respond. It would be nice if you feel like it does not invade your privacy to use the PeopleSoft Coding Academy group, because if you ask a question that is not so personal, then I can be able to respond to that and other colleagues can learn from it. So I would also appreciate that if you're able to think it in that line. Otherwise, I wish you the best. Yeah, so I'm traveling within this week. So if yeah, you can say bye, wish me good luck, and see you when the opportunity arises for me to see you guys again. Otherwise, it was nice sharing my scholarship journey with you, and good luck in everything.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.